Well, I found it interesting that like 10 minutes ago you said like you have so many options to do
Yeah.
many different things. And what many young people find a paradox is that once you grow older, many of these doors get shut, right? So you select a specific uh, job for yourself, or at least a terrain of knowledge or abilities which you will develop, and by doing that, uh, you will close a lot of other doors. So, for example, I'm working at the university. I'm not a medical doctor, so the chances that I will become one are decreasing very rapidly because the investment would be enormous. Take a lot of time, it'll take a lot of money.
Yeah.
But this is also true for many other things, which you can do. Like, I'm not a pilot, so I cannot fly airplanes. Of course, I could learn this, but again, it will take a lot of energy and money. And this becomes increasingly more difficult often while we grow older, because we have families, for example, because we invested in a lot of responsibilities and tasks. And the interesting thing is people often start to feel better once they grow older. Whereas many young people think, well, if you lose all these opportunities and you become fixed in a way, right? You define who you are increasingly better. So you know who you are, but you also know all these things you will not be in your life. At the same time, we will become more happy on general.
It's less chaotic to a certain degree. It's like, cause that's often what I experience still, is that it's like, it's quite chaotic to not know what you are, and also to what expect of you. I mean, I have a bachelor's degree in applied psychology, and it's like, so I guess I'm an applied psychologist, but it's like, sure, on paper, like I have knowledge that other people don't have, but it's not that obvious. Like if you have a conversation on a party with people, it's not immediately obvious of what people are, especially at a young age. Well, if you talk to people like you or more your age, and generally they have more experience in their job, it's more obvious what they are.
Yeah, we integrate it in our identity. And that also gives us a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
It gives our life meaning. And obviously it makes us more happy on average.
Yeah.
So most people become happier with every year from their 20s onwards.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's interesting.
Which I also think is a really great future for all of us, because we will feel increasingly better about a lot of things. And this is not true for every domain of subjective well-being, so there are exceptions.
Okay.
For example, after midlife, we start experiencing a bit lower sense of personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
But for most things, like finding meaning, finding purpose, how we think about our social relationships, this all becomes better. So we lose a lot of friends in terms of number, but the friendships we have often become more warm and deeper, and we have a shared past, which we value together, right? So everything's changing all the time, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, it makes it very like. I always find it interesting to be aware of these things when you're younger, that you know that things are going to change in the way that you see the world as well. And it is true what you said, is that it's kind of scary to let go of the other things or other possibilities or possible use almost, like you're going to go one direction, and then it's always like do what you find fun and feel like, and it's like, well, a lot of things seem fun. That's the way I always see things, and it's weird to give up or almost like sacrifice certain things to pick one thing, and then like how do you do that? Like I feel like back in the day we were so much more inclined to just follow our dad or whatever. You stayed in the social class, and now it's also the idea of like follow your dreams. And that was one of the things that I realized at a certain point. It's like, what is my dream? And then I think about a year ago I had the idea like, I want to travel the world, stuff like that. And recently I realized like, actually it's not really my dream, like, because I could have done it by now if I wanted to, but I didn't. And there's actually a lot of reasons not to, and I think it's just more of a social idea that traveling is amazing, and that I kind of took that as my dream. But honestly, I don't really know what I dream of. I just want to help people to become happier somehow, or enjoy life more, or something like that. then just live a life, just be happy, just live it. That's just very simple. And it's like, that's not really a goal, And like, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe, kinda. I guess there's something there, and just kind of try and do that, and then you see whatever happens. So yeah.
But I think you're hitting here on a very important point. Is it's almost a burden that we have to find the ways in which we can actualize ourselves, because it gives so much responsibility that nowadays you can become everything you want or you imagine, which is of course not true in reality. And I think that's also a reason why so many of the young generations are suffering, because in the past you indeed just on a certain level did what was possible for you and you were content with it. And now if the story is that you can become everything you want, then you're a failure if you do not achieve this. And I think this is one of the driving forces behind a lot of burnout and sadness young people experience.
Yeah, because it's also what I experienced personally is that if people tell you can become everything you want, then it's also like to answer that with the idea of, well, I want to become a psychologist and just help people and have a paid job and that's it. It feels like you can become everything. It's like, like that's kind of a feeling you get from it. It's like, okay, well, if you get to dream and be everything you want, then you better have some goddamn good dreams, like, and if it's like, because your friends all my friends are always saying like, I want to become rich, I want to earn a lot of money, I want to like and then you come in and you're like, oh, I just want to become a psychologist and just have a house and just live life, and it's like it's a great dream, but on the other hand, your friends can sometimes be like, really, like, isn't there more? Don't you want to go to the moon or something like that? And it's like, because that's a lot of my friends are like that, they dream really big. And that's also what social media and a lot of people on social media say, yeah, dream big, and if you then have a lesser dream, because that's what I've experienced, is that because I always wanted to be a psychologist, and recently I really realized that again, and I was like, damn, actually, maybe that's my dream, but maybe I feel like it's not good enough, and that's kind of to a certain degree what I've experienced, is that I feel like it wasn't good enough, and now I'm like, it's actually a pretty beautiful dream, like I like it, but I understand that other people can be like, really, psychologist, and like, that's, what else, do you want to travel? It's like, maybe, I don't know, not sure, no, necessarily, it's like not full enough or something.
And we're aiming for very, very big goals, because becoming a psychologist is already something very special, because you have to do like a very special education. Not everybody has been given the mind to be able to really achieve this.